Welcome back, friend. I want to read to you a clip from a news story in Egypt. Now, you might have heard that recently Pope Francis met with that man. His name is Sheikh Ahmed Al-Taib. He is the chief imam at the very old and very prestigious Al-Azhar Mosque and university. It's a huge university with a mosque in it in Cairo. I've been there. Some scholars believe it is the most influential Muslim college, Muslim university, teaching Muslim theology on the planet, and has been linked to terrorism. Now, please understand what I'm about to tell you. This is critical and somewhat disturbing. What Westerners call acts of terrorism, Islam does not call acts of terrorism. Now, Pope Francis met with this man because for the past 5 years, there has been no formal dialogue between the Vatican and Al-Azhar, this university in Egypt. Al-Azhar broke off relations with the Vatican when Pope Benedict made some comments about Muhammad's connection to brutal acts, okay? The Pope was just telling the truth. Pope Benedict XVI was telling the truth about Muhammad, and it enraged the Muslims, so they cut off communication relationship with the Vatican at that time. So now Pope Francis and El-Taib are meeting, and people are saying, wait a minute, why is the Pope meeting with this man? For example, Al-Taib and Al-Azhar, the mosque, have refused to call ISIS apostates. They've refused to say that ISIS is an apostate group. And what they said is the reason that they will not call ISIS an apostate group is because they make the proper declaration of faith. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. That's the Shahada. That's their testimony of faith. If they say that and they believe it, then they can't be called an apostate. Now, they also said, Al-Azhar, the mosque, also said, El-Taib, who met with the Pope, they released a statement saying, we don't call people apostates. That's not our place. Oh, no, not true. Not too long ago, maybe 20 years ago, there was a professor in Egypt, and I studied about this man's murder. For my master's program, he suggested that there should be a separation between Islam and the state. That there should not be the imposition of Sharia law and the political elements of Islam. We could still say there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. We can still believe in monotheism, but let's have a separation of our religion and civil government. Al-Azhar, the mosque, released a statement that he was an apostate. In Al-Azhar's curriculum, they teach that apostates can be killed by anyone, okay? Muhammad said that someone who kills an apostate will receive a reward on the day of judgment. And so this professor, who was a Muslim, and just said, let's separate Islam from the political realm, he was labeled an apostate and was murdered. And he was labeled an apostate by this mosque. And this mosque teaches that it's appropriate to murder apostates. Now, I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to read to you from an article written by someone in Egypt regarding what this university teaches. And what we've got to understand, I know this is so hard for those of us in the West and in Europe and in other nations in the world. We've got viewers in Australia. What's so hard for us to understand is this is Islam. Okay? They don't consider it terror. They don't consider it evil. They don't consider it wrong. It's because it's what Muhammad did. How could it be wrong?